So for Zoom, you open up a new tab, you type zoom.us, and then it brings you to this screen. You click on My Account. Again, once yours is active, and then you're to your dashboard. Up here in this little picture, you may not have your picture. Once you actually put your picture, then you'll have your picture. You see how mine, the email is the Alif ISD, not the GA. So make sure that it is the Alif ISD and that it says licensed. If it's not the one that says licensed, when you open that email to activate and you went through Google, then it took you to your Google, which is the GA Alif ISD account. So you didn't activate the license. You would have to go back into your email, go through activate, and then don't do the sign in through Google or Facebook or anything, but at the bottom where it says to create a password. Then it's gonna ask you for your email, this one, and create a password for it, and then you should come up to this one that says licensed. So if your Zoom, when you log in, does not say license, you're still in the free one. So we need to make sure.
I found out how to get there.
Okay.
I got there.
So does it say licensed?
It does, yes.
Perfect.
How did you get there, Burge?
Go over where it says it's free. I mean,
Yeah.
where it says sign in.
Yeah.
But just go to where it says sign in. Not sign in is free. The other one that just says sign in.
I was thinking about clicking on that. Okay, sign in.
Sign in, and then it should take you to yours.
Okay, now it says sign in, email address, and password.
Yeah, put your email address, your Shirley.Rhodes, blah, blah, blah.
Alif ISD.
At alifisd.net?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-oh, password.
Yes.
Whatever your password was.
Let me see if this is gonna work. Uh-oh, it's got these select all squares with traffic lights. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. That's just a Wi-Fi thing. Maybe.
Verify?
Yes.
Bird, did you get all of that?
I didn't get all of that. Mine just took me right to the profile page.
Maybe I didn't put in the right, can y'all hold on a second?
Sure. So on here later, if you wanted to go through to change the picture right here, you can personalize it that way. But right now, I'm just going to show you how to create a meeting. And then once in the meeting, I'll try and share the screen to where you can see the bottom part that says breakout rooms and so forth, so that you can do your breakout rooms as well. Ms. Rose.
Can you hold on? Can you hold on a second, please?
Yes, yes.
I don't think this is. Okay.
I was trying to do the.
Did you get in?
Yes.
Okay.
Then where do I go now?
Oh, are you on
the picture icon?
Do you see the profile like mine?
Uh-huh.
Just verify right here with the little picture icon to make sure that it is the one that says licensed.
Yes, it says licensed.
Perfect. You're in the right spot. Ms. Moore, what were you saying?
I'm doing it right now. For verification, please confirm your date of birth.
Did they ask you that question?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember them asking my date of birth.
Yeah. Let me go back. I typed in Zoom, hold on, zoom.us. And then.
Sign in.
Okay, the sign in, that's probably what I didn't do right.
And then when you sign in, like Ms. Rhodes, it'll ask you for your email and your password.
So it says olga.moore@alifisd.net.
Yes.
And it has a password. I don't know what the password is.
What do you mean it has a password? Like it's already saved on there?
Well, it shows, you know how it has a little asterisk for each
Mhm.
letter or number?
Yeah.
That's
Put
what
sign
it is.
in.
It just has, I don't know what. Okay.
Put sign in. Maybe you had saved it from before.
Okay. So
So
now it brings up my
profile.
Uh-huh.
Then you're there. Just to verify, again, make sure you click on the picture icon on the right and make sure it says licensed. That's the one
Says
that's
basic.
basic.
Uh-huh.
Then no. So just stay there just so that you can see how to create meetings and so forth. And then we'll walk you through to make sure that you do get the license one. Again, like I said, you don't have to use this one. We just don't know when the free one, the basic one, is going to close.
Okay.
All right, so once you're on here, then you're going to go to create a meeting. You go to meetings. And this is once you're going to start creating your meetings. I have the extended planning one on there, the e-colors, the meet the teacher, and then our meetings that we're scheduled to meet for the team. But you would go to schedule a meeting. And then you can name it whatever you want. Like if you're going to do the meet the teacher, or if you're going to do reading, your reading Zoom, your math Zoom, you label it here. You would put the date of when you're doing the Zoom, the time of when you're doing the Zoom. Most of the time it's already defaulted to do an hour, so you can leave it there. The password is always, well, first of all, here, I always use the personal ID, the meeting ID, so that every time when you give your parents the ID, that it stays the same. And then my password is always the date, but you can put whatever password you want. I don't recommend, some in the summer, some of the PD professionals were using letters. I don't recommend that because sometimes you have the Zooms or people, you know, your parents will log in, the students using their cell phone, and it's not as easy on their cell phone to put letters. So I would not recommend that. But on the computer you can, but on the cell phone it's not as easy depending on their settings. So I would recommend to put numbers, and you can put how many ever numbers you want. I always use the date. It's easier for me to remember what password it is. Just remember that when you do a meeting, if you set up a meeting today for Thursday's Zoom, and you have another meeting, like if I set up Thursday's Zoom for my reading group, but then tomorrow I have a meeting with you all, and it's the date for you all, 8/4, then it'll change the password on that Thursday Zoom. So make sure that when you go back on Thursday that you change the password. Do you understand? So I go in here and I create,
Nope.
okay, so I go in here and I create for Thursday my reading small group Zoom, right? And then I put on here that the date is going to be on the 6th, and I'm meeting with them at 12. I would put on here the date is 8/6. My password is 8/6 because I always put the date. And then I save it and so forth. Everything else is pretty much the same as far as the video. Participants have the video on. The audio would be for both, for if they're on their cell phone or if they're on the computer. The rest is just the same as every normal one. And then I put save. If I have a meeting tomorrow and I create a meeting for tomorrow and I meet with you all, emergency meeting, blah, 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 and I put the password for tomorrow's meeting, 8/4, it automatically changes any of my meetings that I had created before, would change it to that password. So the password that you last put
Okay.
is the password that stays.
Ms.
Mm.
Hernandez,
So if you had, like for me, I set up one for my reading small group and I send it and I share it with my parents and I tell them this is the meeting ID, this is the password. If I have a meeting tomorrow, it's going to change my password. So I have to make sure that I go back and I change it to that 8/6/2020
Ms.
so that the
Hernandez,
parents don't have problems going in. Yes.
I'm a little bit confused because when I did it in the spring semester, I would put the date and say I had one meeting, but then later I would meet with them. You could have, I had the same username and password. It was the time that was different. So I could have 2 meetings that day and still use the same username and password. It was just the time that would make the difference. So
Yes.
has that
For-
changed?
For me, it changed because I changed the password. I changed the password to fit the date. But if your password is the same and your password is always the same, then it's never going to change. So if your password is always 0801 2020 for any single meeting you have, then it's not going to change. For me, it changed because I went in there and changed because I wanted the password to be the date of the Zoom.
Okay, I understand now.
So it's only if you're doing it like me, creating the date. I just wanted to let you know that because I'm telling you, I use the date and some people like using the date. But if you create it in advance and you have another Zoom in between, it's going to change it for you.
Okay.
So you could just keep the same password all the time. I don't want to keep the same password because I don't want it to get around security things for me. All right. Any questions on how to create a meeting?
Erica, can you go back? So where it says meeting ID, it should be personal meeting ID.
Yes.
That should be clicked. And then
That should-
video on, audio both.
These are just automatic. They're defaulted by what you put on your settings. And we're going to go through settings and you can put whatever you want. Like if you want automatically your video, the host video to be off automatically at the beginning of the meeting, you can set it that way. If you want it to be on, then you can set it that way.
Okay.
Same with audio and the passcode. The passcode, you could do a different passcode for them just to security. They create their own passcode. They create their own meeting ID. You can do it that way. But for the meeting ID, I don't mind it to be my meeting ID the same every time.
I would recommend Password Villalba so they can start learning how to spell my last name.
Yes, the only thing is, I love that idea. The only thing is that if they're joining with the cell phone on the Zoom, it's not as easy to put letters for passwords.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but if none of your parents have problems putting in letters, then you can do that. Now, once you create the meeting, then you need to send it to the parents. So you go here where it says copy invitation. And when you go to copy invitation, you can copy all the information, or you can select what you want to copy. Like, I don't like sending them all these different dial, I don't know what that is. I don't like sending them that. So then I just copy Erica Hernandez is inviting you up to the password. And then I hear right mouse click and copy, and then post it wherever. If you're going to send it through Class Dojo, if you want to send it through email, if you want to put it on Schoology, wherever you want to put it to tell the parents that this is your Zoom information, then you would copy it this way. Any questions on how to copy to send to your parents?
How did you get
Yes,
to that?
you went a little fast.
I'm
I didn't,
sorry.
I didn't see
Okay.
how you copied it.
Ms. Moore, you got it?
Yes.
So that you can tell us? Okay, you tell us. Where do I go?
So once you create it, then you go to copy invitation.
Copy invitation.
But I don't see that.
Where's copy meeting invitation? Where is
Okay.
that? I don't see it.
Did you create the meeting?
Oh, I didn't know we were actually supposed to create the meeting.
No, you don't have to. Once you create the meeting, once you put the topic, the time, the password, you click save. The moment you click save, that creates the meeting. Now you want to invite them. So once you create the meeting, it'll say that it's on here.
Okay.
It'll keep you on here, and then it'll be a part where it says the invite link to the side. You'll have a copy invitation. But that's once you create the meeting. And then, Ms. Moore?
Okay, so then you highlight from your name down to the passcode. And then you right click,
Yes.
right click,
You right click,
copy,
copy,
and then you send it to wherever you want them to.
and then you send it to whatever you want.
Dojo or
Now, let's say I want to put it on Class Dojo, but I don't have Class Dojo open on my computer. You can email it to yourself, open your email from your cell phone, copy it from your email from your cell phone, and paste it on Class Dojo. You can open Class Dojo on your computer, sign in from Class Dojo on your computer, and paste it on there as well. Or paste it on Schoology. Any questions on how to create a meeting or how to copy to send the link to parents?
you said we can paste it to Schoology, so we could create a folder for Schoology. We can call it Zoom, and then paste that information there for the students and the parents.
Yes,
So then that way,
especially, yes,
we could see that they're getting on also to get that information.
yeah.
And that is-
Especially if you're keeping the passcode the same. I would not, for me, because my passcode keeps changing depending on the date. So for me, I'm reaching out to the parents with the link on Class Dojo. We're good with meetings and copy the link to send to parents. Now, settings. This is where you can change it because it's not automatic for you to have breakout rooms. So here you go to settings, and then, well, I'll just go skim through real quick, but I'll stop at where it says breakout rooms. You want to have the waiting room so that they get on, and then once you're ready, then you start allowing them to come in, which is, I think, already on default. Require passcode, the password is already on default that you need one. The personal ID, it's already on default to use a personal ID. For the meeting here, it's up to you whether you want the host, when you start every meeting, you want the video on. And if you don't, then you would, when it's blue, then it's on. When you click it and it's gray, then it's not on. So here I do have it selected that every time when I start my Zoom meetings, my video is on. And then for the participants, if you're having Zoom, then you can. Now, since I've been having my Zooms with you all, then I don't put it automatic because I know some of you don't like to have your video right away. So I don't put it automatic. But once you start having the Zoom meetings with your students and you do have to want to see them, then you would click it here to where it automatically, when they start the meeting, their video is on. So you can see them automatically. So it's
Oh,
up to
that
you
could be a
then.
little dangerous.
I know. maybe leave it off until after you've had the Zoom Thursday meeting with them, telling them this is your expectation for Zooms. Maybe then you can have it like, yes, automatic. Yes. For the audio, I always leave the telephone and the computer because you do have parents doing both. Some of them on the device, some of them on their phone, because their device that they have doesn't have the video. I always take this one off because I do not want anyone joining the meeting before I do. So I take that one off. So if it's up to you, you can have them be waiting there and then you come up and there's all, because I don't know what conversations they're going to have in the meeting before I get there. The personal ID, we already talked about that. In the meeting, chats. It is up to you. If you feel like you don't want to be checking their chats to make sure that they're not chatting with each other and having inappropriate discussions or saying comments, then you can take it off. But if you're going to be asking them questions in the chat, make sure you respond yes, no. In the chat, type in your name. If you're going to be using the chat, you can highlight it or make it blue to where you do. It's up to you. If you don't want to have any of them be chatting on the chat box like we do, you can take that one off. And that way you don't have any At one point, one of the meetings, I had to take it off because they were just making comments like, "Oh yay!" and "Oh, I'm so sad," or "No, I'm so sad. I'm bored," or they would put smiley faces, and they would put images. I'm like, okay, you're just playing. So I took it off, but it's up to you.
Do we have the option of maybe, like, say if we start with chat, but then during the session, stuff is
Take
going
it
on.
off.
Talking,
Let's
can we
see.
come and take it off during the session?
I think I have to stop share for that. Chat. Yes. Like right now, I can put on here no one. So no one can chat. I can put on there only the host can chat. I can put on there for everyone to publicly chat, or I can put for everyone to do it publicly and privately. So yes, as you do a Zoom, you can change it to different things that you want on the chat. Yes, good question. Private chat, that's the same thing. So you can automatically put it to where they can or they cannot send private chats to each other. But you can leave it on, and then like Ms. Moore said, oh, they're doing too many private chats, let me take it off. You can take it off afterwards. Because you do, even though it's a private chat, as the host, you do see their private chats. So then you can decide, okay, I don't want them to do it, or oh, okay, they're fine. Or my students don't even know that there's private chat. The sound, I put it on there so that I know when someone comes in, as far as notifying you when someone joins, so that you hear the ping. So just in case, especially because you're doing small groups and you're having your Zoom meeting, and then someone, a student comes in late, the bing is to let you know that someone comes in, or that bing, someone's waiting in the waiting room so that you can let them in. So I leave it on there. It's not automatic, so you need to put it on there to sound, to give you a sound when someone's joining the meeting, because you will have some that are joining in late. And of course, you would probably only want it to be for yourself and not for everyone. Anytime that you do make a change, it'll ask you to save the change. File transfer, all that is automatic. Feedback. Taking polls. This is something that I didn't know about it until the summer. They would take polls during the Zooms for us, and you can take a poll and it'll ask you to create the poll either before or during the meeting. So I like this one, so that if you want to poll your students, like how many blah, 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 how many this, how many that, or just true and false polls, and you can poll as you're doing the Zoom, and they'll, at the bottom, it'll tell you what the poll is, how many people say yes, how many people say no, whatever. So I like that. It's not automatic, so you would have to change it to make it to where you can poll the students. Screen sharing, the host, of course, even the screen sharing, you can change it afterwards if you want the students to share their screen. You may not want to. So I just put host only, automatic. Annotation, big one. Annotation means, like, when I come up here to the top, when you're sharing the screen, you click on annotate, and then I can write on the screen. So it's up to you whether you want to allow the students to do it, or if only the host can do it. It's up to you here. And so I allow them to do it because I did have some students annotate and circle answers and write numbers and so forth on here. And so on here you can have the students annotate and writing, and then it'll be here where you can clear it. You can change it. You can change be a text or mouse and different things for you to annotate.
So if we're doing a word problem and we want them to use the strategies, this would be an excellent tool.
For annotation, yes. So if you have, like, for math, they have those small group worksheets out there that's already saved. You can open one and allow them to annotate, and you can say, okay, Olga's going to do number one. So Olga, number one, read it for us, and you read it again. So how would you solve this problem? And you would let them draw on the screen with annotation to get the answers.
A thought just went through my mind right now as you're saying all that. You know, we have that, how Ms. Miller was saying about the workbook, we could use it as a small group if we wanted to, or even if we're teaching a lesson and we want to use one of the problems as an example for a whole group, we could go through Think Central, open the student workbook, and then do it right there.
Yep,
Have
that's what I
them-
did in the summer. I would open up the Think Central. I would have the problem. You can zoom in and you can say, okay, Olga's gonna do number 1, and I would allow them to draw on and answer the question on the screen. And then you can save. It allows you on here to save their annotation so that you can go back and view what was their answer, or how did they get it wrong, or what have you, and keep their work.
Was it easy for them to do that? Was it easy to see?
Yes. Yeah. I just had to get after a couple that were writing when someone else was writing. I said, remember, only so-and-so is writing.
Mhm.
There is a whiteboard, Ms. Vasquez, for you. So it's just the white clear board so that you can start annotating, and so that you don't have to do the Elmo type of thing. You can do it on Zoom. Of course, it's just all white, and if your screen is not touch screen, it may be hard with the mouse. But if you do have a touch screen, then you can just, with your finger, be doing all the writing on the whiteboard. I don't know what remote control is, but it's on there. Everything else, signing in themselves, rejoining. This one where the allow removed participants to rejoin, I took it off, because if I have to remove you, and it takes a lot for me to have to remove you from a meeting, but if I have to remove you, I don't want you to be able to come back in. But if you are going to if you want to remove them, but then they can come back when you want them to, like if you're doing small group and you have whole group first, and then you tell them, Olga and Ms. Verge and Ms. Vasquez, go ahead and leave, and then, or you remove them and then say, okay, I'm gonna remove you, and then in 10 minutes, come back. So you can remove them, but then in 10 minutes, they can rejoin, then you can select this one. But for me, if I'm removing you, it's because you're doing something you're not supposed to, so I don't want you to come back on your own. Breakout rooms. Again, this is not default, so you have to go into your settings and select breakout rooms. So breakout rooms is so that you can assign a breakout room. Again, I'm gonna go into a meeting, and or to our meeting, and I'm gonna try and see if I can share where you can see the menu for me at the bottom in a bit. But this one you have to select to say, yes, I want to allow breakout rooms. Camera, virtual background, filters, everything else is default. I don't think there's anything else that I
I have a
select.
question, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
With the breakout rooms, it automatically, like you click the button whenever you say you want a breakout room, and it'll automatically divide the kids into breakout rooms? Because what about if you want certain groups, certain kids to be, can you make those groups?
Yes, you will make the groups. Now, on
Okay.
here, it did allow you to say, for you to create them beforehand, but
Okay.
I didn't always, like right here, allow the host to assign before.
Okay. Mhm.
But I didn't know who was actually going to be in my room to be able to break them out, because if I made my list, okay, these are the ones that are going to break out rooms, and like 2 from here didn't join, then I would have to reshuffle them again. So I just did them at the moment. So at
Okay.
the moment, when you put breakout rooms, it'll tell you who's going to breakout room number 1, who's going to breakout room number 2, and you can add more breakout rooms. Like if you wanted to have 4 breakout rooms, then you can.
Or you can just let it be random, say.
Or
if
you
just-
can.
Okay,
You
we're gonna
can let
break
it
it
be
into
random.
groups, and boom, it just puts you into a group, like say for social
Yes.
studies or something. Yeah.
For social studies, if
Okay.
I'm going to put you in a group of 3 and you
Right.
say you want 3, then Zoom will
Yeah.
automatically randomly select 3 and put them in each of the breakout rooms.
Right.
And then you as a host can join different breakout rooms and
Okay.
exit different breakout rooms, so you can pop in to see what their shared thinking is, what their conversation is, or how they're reading together, or whatever you have them do. Yes.
Okay. That's great. I love it.
Mhm. And so, like I said, everything else aside from the breakout rooms, that's the last thing that I remember on here as far as setting. And that's it. So once you're done, remember anything else that you come in here to change, it'll automatically ask you to save what you're changing. So make sure that you do click save, because if I go in here and I change and I put that I didn't have breakout rooms and now I want breakout rooms and then I just exit without saving, you didn't actually put yes to the breakout rooms. So make sure that any changes, when it asks you to save, make sure that you click save. Okay. Now, let me see. I'm going to share again, but this time I'm going to try let's try screen. I'm trying to see if it'll show you my meeting. No. Right now, when I move the cursor down to the bottom, can you see the bottom that for me says mute, stop video, chat, breakout rooms? Do you see that at the bottom of my screen?
I don't think you're sharing the video no more.
I don't see
No?
your screen either.
Yeah, you're not sharing.
I'm not seeing screen either.
Right now, all you see is the Zoom, join a meeting,
Sign in.
sign in.
Are you trying to show your desktop so we can see the whole thing?
Yeah, and it didn't show me desktop. It
Somebody
did
got the
before.
TV on. Somebody's got the TV on. I hear TV.
I see it. There's one of the options. I don't know if it's the one that's right next to Chrome. That's like desktop and Chrome together.
Because I have screen, whiteboard, iPad, the Zoom, but that's Google. The Zoom Cloud Meetings. It's not browser. I know there was a desktop. But you don't see the Zoom, right? Boo. I was wanting you to see so that you can see my screen where it shows everything. There was one before that showed you the desktop. Boo. When I click breakout rooms here, no, but you can't see. Can you see the little screen that says, no, there's nothing.
No, we see you.
Do you see this one that says assign 9 participants? Automatically, manual. It's a pop-up screen.
No.
It's showing Zoom. It says here's what to do with your meeting recording. That's it.
So then no, this pop-up for me, you can't see. Boo. All right. So as far as the breakout rooms, I'll try and see if I can find, I think on Zoom there's videos and there's breakout rooms for the videos. Oh, let me see if I can share that. And it'll show you there how to do the breakout rooms, how to so that you can see how the breakout rooms are done and how you would switch from one to another. So if you go to your Zoom and you sign in and go to your account, you say attend, video tutorials. And then you can type in here what exactly you want. Let's try breakout rooms. Managing. So here you have a video that'll show you how you would manage your breakout rooms. So you have enabling your breakout rooms, pre-assigning if you wanted to, the breakout rooms, how to do the polls. So you have all these training videos on Zoom that you can do that. Because I can't show you to go in there and see how I would set up the rooms and divide you all into breakout rooms and so forth. So you can go into, did everybody see how to get there?
Mm-hmm.
So down here where it says video tutorials, and then you can type in breakout room, or you can type in poll, and it'll bring you up to that video where you can see, and there's other videos that you can go into. Let's try a breakout room just so that you can see what the students see, because a lot of times that's what I would tell my students. You're going to go in and they're going to tell you to join breakout room number 1, and then when you finish, I'm going to close it so you don't have to do anything. It'll automatically bring you back. Yes?
Go
Perfect.
for it. Go for it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So when you first click on breakout rooms, it'll ask you assign where's 9 participants. So assign the 9 participants into 1 breakout room, 2 breakout rooms, or you can do it manually. So I'm going to do it manually, and I'm going to put into 3 breakout rooms. And then you click create. And then for you, it'll say breakout room number 1, number 2, number 3. And then on the side, you say assign, and you'll have to click Brandon, iPhone, and Miss Williams are in breakout room number 1. You click on breakout room number 2. I'm going to assign Villalba, Miss Verge, and Stores in breakout room number 3. And then assign breakout room number 3, Olga, Tristan, and Vasquez. So I put 3 of you each on a breakout room. So all you're going to do when I click open all rooms is that you are going to get a screen. It'll say join breakout room, whichever one I put you in. And so you just say join. All right. And then when I close it, I'm gonna come in as a teacher, and I'm gonna jump into each of you just so that you can see how the teacher automatically appears into your breakout room, and then how she disappears. And then at the end, I'm gonna close it, and all you see on your screen is gonna say in 1 minute, you're gonna go back to the main session. Okay? So all you do right now is say join, whatever breakout room it tells you.
We got 4 people in our break, 3 people in our
Yes,
breakout room.
I
All
joined
right.
you. You're in breakout room number 1. So here you would, of course, you would tell them before. You would say, when you go into your breakout rooms, you're going to discuss or introduce yourself. Let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Jane. I can't hear you, Miss Rose or Brandon.
I'm How's it going?
Hey, I'm Shirley. How y'all doing?
Doing all
Very
right.
good. All right, so stay talking. As a teacher, you would redirect them or what have you. So stay talking and talk about what would you do next. And so you as a teacher, at the bottom, it says leave room. So you would leave room, and then it's going to tell you where else you want to join. So you
That's
keep
awesome.
talking about what you would use breakout rooms for.
Okay.
All right, did we
Some
lose
people were
anyone?
still copying. Hey.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, hello. So the teacher's jumping in to make sure everybody's on task, everybody's answering the question that I asked you to answer or share whatever you were sharing. And then you would redirect if you need to redirect them or give them something else to do. So now that you've communicated or introduced yourself, now go ahead and talk about how you would use breakout rooms. Yes, Ms. Doris.
I was just gonna ask you just to make sure. I was trying to like set up the Zoom link, but I'm guessing I probably am not going to have the same features as you guys since I'm the student teacher, right?
True. If they didn't create the licensed one, the basic one may not have breakout rooms and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So
Just-
now talk about like what you could use breakout rooms for. All right.
Okay.
In a bit, you'll see where I'm closing the room and then everybody's coming back all together. All right. So for you here, it would say leave the room and would say leave breakout room. So as a teacher, you would leave this breakout room without ending the meeting. Make sure you don't click on end the meeting for all.
Look at each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, as a teacher, you would pop in and then you would redirect if there's anyone that's not doing what they're supposed to and maybe give them another direction. Now that you've done this one part, now I want you to do this or whatever instruction. And then for you to leave at the bottom, it'll say leave room and then it'll give you 3 options. End the meeting for all, which of course you don't want to. Leave the meeting, which is you leaving the meeting, definitely do not want to. Or leave the breakout room. So right now, I just want to leave the breakout room. So you're the last group. I'm going to end all breakout rooms. So it'll tell you, it'll prompt you in 1 minute, and it'll count down. So you'll see that you don't have to do anything and it'll just bring you back automatically. All right. Yay.
Hey, I'm back.
You all did not wait the 60 seconds. You all
No.
clicked to end.
I know.
Which is okay, but it's good to know that in 60 minutes, if they don't click end the meeting or end the breakout room, everyone will automatically be kicked out. So 30 seconds. The ones that did not, like you, click end meeting or end the breakout room will come back in 20 seconds.
Ms. Hernandez, is there
Yes,
a way
ma'am.
to disable them from communicating when they're in their breakout room? If we don't want them like communicating unsupervised?
Ooh, good question. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
that is a good question because you don't know what goes on when you're not there.
You can, what you can do, instead of putting them in a breakout room, you can put them to the waiting room. Because the waiting room, the question, good question, Ms. Vasquez asked the question, once everybody's back, about instead of putting them in breakout rooms, because you wanted to put them in a breakout rooms, but have them not communicate with each other, which I don't think you can, but you can put them into the waiting room. So when you put them into the waiting room, then it's kind of like you, when you were waiting for me to add you, then you're just there by yourself waiting. So if you wanted a breakout room per se, but not them communicating because you didn't want them communicating on their own, or you can do a breakout room where it's just them by themselves. So then you can go back in and check on them. If there was a student, because she didn't want a particular student to be communicating with other students unsupervised.
Mm-hmm.
That was her concern, her question.
We were saying we won't know if they're saying or doing anything inappropriate if we're not there to supervise.
In that.
Right. I mean, or you could, or say if you didn't want any of them communicating, could you put them all just on mute?
They can unmute themselves.
Oh.
And even if they're on mute, they could probably be doing gestures that you're not watching.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a concern.
Just let them know I'm watching you.
Even in the chat, even if they were to chat with each other, you won't know if you're in a small group because they could be chatting something inappropriate.
They're not supposed to, yeah.
Yeah. And then you won't know. And how do you cut those things off? If
You
you're
have to
not
see, you
aware
be
of?
able to see that afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think
And-
it's better
chat.
to do the waiting room. Because
Yeah.
at that point, they should be working independently if you're in a small group anyway.
And if you are, like I said, you can put them in, because the breakout rooms are unlimited. You can put them in a breakout room by themselves. Like if I say, okay, Tristan, I want you to read for 15 minutes on your own. I will come back and check on you individually. You put her on breakout room number 1. And then Olga, I want you to work on your words because you need practice on your spelling words. You're in breakout room number 2. And then put everyone individually in breakout rooms. And then you pop in and say, okay, are you reading? Do you have any concerns? And ask them reading questions, comprehension, whatever you want.
That sounds good.
Would be good.
Sounds good. Good question, Ms. Vasquez.
Can
with
you
me and-
record? Can you record
Yes.
in the breakout room?
I recorded right now, so I'll let you know what exactly you see. I'm assuming that it only recorded wherever I went. I'm assuming, but I've never recorded breakout rooms before. I didn't find a need because my breakout rooms before were with Ms. Acosta, and she would take one breakout room and I would take the other, and then we would swap. Because you can do that. If you had, let's say Ms. Vasquez, not Ms. Vasquez, Ms. Villegas was with me and she was working with one breakout room, but then I knew she was gonna go with the next breakout room, you can switch them. So you can go and reassign Ms. Vasquez to a different Ms. Villegas into a different breakout room. And so you can reassign students, you can reassign if there's a Ms. Villegas or Ms. Price with you. Good question. And I think as far as the Zoom, that is it. The breakout rooms, how to set a meeting, how to share the link with your parents. Anything else you can think of?
Hey, ladies, I'm getting ready to get off. I'm going to head to the school shortly.
Oh, yes.
All right. Talk to
Thank
y'all
you, Ms.
later.
Williams.
Excellent job. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Bye-bye.
Bye.